What's up, guys? It's Will here, back again. And this morning we have some very exciting Hot Toys announcements to preview. We got a lot to digest and think about here because Hot Toys have announced an Artisan Moon Knight figure, as you can see on your screen now, and also a Mr. Knight figure. There is no sculpted Moon Knight, just an Artisan version, so there is a lot to discuss, especially if you have the first Moon Knight or you never owned it, you're considering owning one now. Do you pick up the original? Do you pick up this one? We're going to make sense of all of it. But before we get started, make sure to click the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss anything as it goes live here. News, live streams, reviews, breaking preview videos like these, helpful collecting guides, everything under the sun for Hot Toys collecting and statue collecting can be found here. That said, let's waste no more time. Hot Toys have announced an Artisan Moon Knight. So if you're new to Hot Toys collecting, Artisan essentially is Hot Toys' premium line. It's their rooted hair figure line with wool implanted rooted hair. And it's really, really good. They've only released 2 figures as of now. They released the Heath Ledger Joker Batman Imposter, and of course the Dark Knight Heath Ledger, which I still don't have in hand yet because Sideshow has delayed it, but I am very excited. Nonetheless, we have a Moon Knight figure here. And if you're wondering, they did release a Moon Knight figure originally that did not come with the Oscar Isaac head sculpt. It was not an Artisan figure. I have it in my collection. It's actually right behind me. You can see it in the very end of the frame there. And it's a really great figure, which makes this a tough decision for collectors who already have that version. You have a great head sculpt here. This is exceptional. This is truly a work of art. This is one of the most lifelike head sculpts I've ever seen in person, because I don't have it in hand yet. But it's approximately 5:11 a.m., so bear with me if and I'm still a little bit sick, as you can hear, so bear with me if I misspeak just a tad. But we have a lot of weathering on this figure. The original figure got a little bit of feedback in terms of criticism, in terms of it being a bit too clean. This one does not appear to be the case. You have a lot of weathering on this one. You have a great Oscar Isaac head sculpt. For me, the dilemma is, do I need this figure? The question you're going to have to ask yourself, well, there's two. Do I really want a Moon Knight in my collection? And secondly, do I need an Oscar Isaac head sculpt? Do I want Moon Knight masked in my display case, or do I want to display an Oscar Isaac head sculpt? If you want to display Oscar Isaac, then for sure you want this Artisan version. If you can't really see yourself getting, putting this head sculpt on the figure all that often, then get the original. That would save you a ton of money. This guy is probably going to cost about $445 to $455 from Sideshow, plus shipping and tax. There's 2,000 units or 2,500 units worldwide, and Sideshow will probably have about maybe 1,500 to 2,000, I would suspect, I would speculate. And you got to join the queue, so make sure to follow that. I'm going to try to go live when this goes live for pre-order, so I'm going to talk about that. Nonetheless, this looks absolutely fantastic. Let me tell you, as someone who has the Moon Knight figure, the original one, it's a fantastic figure already. Putting the hands on it is an absolute pain in the ass, but the figure itself is incredible. Look at how this looks. To me, this looks very similar to the original version. Ankle articulation is a bit limited on the original. Let's hope they fix it on the new one. The weathering is definitely increased. This is an LED light up function. The hood is sculpted. I'm assuming the LED light up function is the same as the original. It's battery operated. You flick the switch on in the neck, and then boom, you have your Moon Knight lit up there. I would love for a USB light up system for this figure because the light up adds so much to it, and the batteries unfortunately just don't last very long. This figure is incredible. The head sculpt is, again, one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen. Hot Toys Heath Ledger Joker Artisan really calmed a lot of people's nerves. That one came out fantastic from what I've seen in videos. So I can't wait to get that one in hand myself and really do a full review and compare it to InArt and all that. But this Oscar Isaac figure, I mean, I never thought that this Moon Knight was actually going to get made with a head sculpt. I don't know why Hot Toys has decided to revisit it now. It's been a couple years. I'm not sure why. It feels very random. It feels very sudden to make this an Artisan figure. Although I'm not complaining. I would have loved to see a Winter Soldier. Hopefully we still do. Maybe a Thor from Avengers. That would be great. But Oscar Isaac, look, everyone wanted an Oscar Isaac head sculpt. Now we got one. If you want to get this or the Mr. Knight figure and make a Poe Dameron figure, you can now. And I'm really excited about this. I am so conflicted because I have the original Moon Knight, and I do typically like displaying my figures mask on. And this head sculpt is so good, though, that I'm not entirely sure that I can ignore that. It's a really tough decision because, again, you don't want to get this if you're not going to use the head sculpt. It's kind of a waste of money if that's the case. You're just going to leave it in the box. But this head sculpt is absolutely stunning. It's a 10 out of 10 sculpt, no doubt about it. The hair looks fantastic. The likeness looks incredible. This is beautiful. This looks like a real person. This looks like Oscar Isaac in a photo shoot. It's crazy, but look how good Moon Knight looks as well. And it's pretty crazy. We're going to talk about Mr. Knight as well, but you have a rooted hair head sculpt with this one and an incredible Moon Knight figure, but look how good Moon Knight looks himself. And that's the problem. Yes, you can alternate them every so often. That's something you can do. You do have flexibility there. You can put the mask on him, then in a couple months say, you know what, I want to put the head sculpt on him. But it's almost a shame to leave this head sculpt in the box at all. And I don't know, it's just a shame kind of to do that. But I will say the base is much smaller this time. I think that's actually a good thing. The base is unnecessarily large on the original, and you have the big moon crescent, which that is pretty cool. But the base is pretty substantial, and I do think it takes up a lot of room unnecessarily. So I absolutely love this figure. Again, prepare for this to be in a queue. It's a live drop. You have to be live for the live drop. Make sure to follow this channel. We should be live streaming for it. If you're not there, you're going to miss it. You're not going to be able to pre-order it. It's going to sell out relatively quickly. So you want to make sure you follow this channel and Will.Foxification on Instagram for updates in relation to when the figure is actually dropping. It's usually 1 p.m. Eastern. It should be one day this week. It could even be today. We don't really know, but I'm probably going to cave and get this, unfortunately. I have the original. I'll probably end up selling the original and getting this one because that head sculpt is just too good to ignore. Let's talk about Mr. Knight. So Mr. Knight essentially is the alter ego version or Stephen Grant version of Moon Knight here. And I think this is a really good figure. I mean, the head sculpt, it's the same as the other one. It looks like, it appears to me. Rolling eyeballs on both of them so you can adjust the eye position. You got sculpted hair on this one compared to rooted. There is no sculpted hair Moon Knight 2.0, so that's not something that's available for you, but you can get this Mr. Knight head sculpt and go from there. The one thing I will say is I would suspect that you're not going to be able to buy Mr. Knight and put this head sculpt on the Moon Knight figure because I would suspect that the attachment systems are going to be different. The Hot Toys is using now these sort of like square peg systems that plug in instead of the old ball peg system. It's a little bit different, and I would suspect that this figure it's not going to work on the original Moon Knight. You do have the masked version of Mr. Knight. I think this looks great. $255. You can be able to get this on Comic Concepts, which I'll put a link in the description below once it's up for pre-order. I think this looks fantastic. Mr. Knight is a somewhat simple outfit. I mean, it's a white suit and a white mask. If you're getting Moon Knight, it is a pretty good companion piece. You could probably put him on the base right next to him, and you'd be able to make a really good display. Mr. Knight is very cool. Again, I really like the show Moon Knight. It's not for everyone. Some people think it's very mid. I think it's an above average show. I really enjoyed it, and I loved Oscar Isaac's performance in it. Some of the scenes were truly heartbreaking, and I really enjoyed the show. So for me, I really want to have a Moon Knight in my collection. This head sculpt is also incredible. I do think the rooted hair takes it to the next level. So the fact that this is sculpted still looks very nice, but it's not quite as good, in my opinion, as the rooted one, which is fair. You're paying a lot more for that, paying double essentially. So this one's again about $255 on Comic Concepts. You'll probably get it for about $255 out the door. Use the code WillFox for $10 off. That's really important. I'll put that in the link in the description below. But again, this guy comes with not much. The base is simple. You don't have too much there, but it's kind of like, man, you want to use that head sculpt on this one as well. Maybe when you do, if you do get the Artisan and you get this one, you can put the head sculpt on him, and then you can go ahead and put the Oscar Isaac Moon Knight, the mask version on the actual figure itself. Maybe you can pop the Artisan head sculpt on this one. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work exactly, but I will say it looks fantastic. Again, $255 versus $455 or $445, depends on how Sideshow is going to price it. But again, you'll be able to get this one on Comic Concepts for cheaper. Use the code WillFox, and you'll be able to get it a lot cheaper. So that's really nice. Again, this figure is basic. I am shocked that this got made. It's been years. It's extremely random. I'm not sure what the justification was. I'm happy it's getting made 1000%. I'm thrilled. I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up. The Moon Knight Artisan probably is coming home. As far as this one is concerned, though, I'm genuinely not sure. I got to think about it. I want to make a good decision. Space is running a little bit thin for me, and hopefully I get more cases in the future one day. But as of now, where I'm living, not the case. I have a limited amount of space and money. So maybe in the future, I'll be able to expand a bit with more module space cases. But as of now, I'm working with what I got. And you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm content with my collection. I'm very happy with where it's at. Let me know what you guys think about this Moon Knight figure. For me, I love the Moon Knight figure. Looks absolutely incredible. And the Mr. Knight figure looks really good as well. Although that one is a companion piece. You're probably not going to get Mr. Knight without having Moon Knight. but I would suspect that there's going to be a lot of people that offload their original Moon Knight. So I would say be on the lookout. There's going to be people that are selling, and then you'll probably be able to scoop one for a very good deal. And when that happens, you can get Mr. Knight for cheap, you know, for retail probably, and then you'll be able to have 2 great figures for a really good deal. You'll probably be able to get both figures for the price of what the Artisan will cost you out the door. That's the dilemma. That's the decision you have to make. Do I need the Oscar Isaac rooted head sculpt? If the answer is no, if you just want Moon Knight, go find the original, get this one. You have 2 figures basically for what you paid for the Artisan. So Artisan is certainly a commitment. You're paying for that premium quality, but that's a decision that only you can make. And I want to hear what your decision is. So drop it in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on these 2 figures, and let me know your thoughts in general, how your Hot Toys collecting is going. I would love to hear about it. Again, will.foxification on Instagram. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell down below so you don't miss any updates that go live here. That said, guys, thank you so much for joining. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out. See you later. Bye.